In the heart of a bustling city, two neighboring kingdoms stood on the brink of war. The king of the east, known for his fierce army and unmatched military strategies, had long coveted the rich lands of the west ruled by the wise and just Queen Lysandra. Tensions between the two rulers had been simmering for years, fueled by old rivalries and territorial disputes. As the drums of war sounded louder with each passing day, whispers of fear and anticipation filled the streets. The people of both kingdoms feared the impending conflict that threatened to tear their world apart. Amidst the chaos, a young warrior named Eirik found himself torn between loyalty to his king and a deep sense of morality. Trained from a young age to serve the kingdom of the east, Eirik had always believed in the glory of battle and the honor of fighting for a just cause. But as the war drew near, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at his conscience. One fateful night, as Eirik stood at the edge of the kingdom's borders, gazing out at the twinkling lights of the enemy camp, he saw something that would change his life forever. A lone figure emerged from the shadows, making their way towards the border with a flag of truce raised high. Intrigued, Eirik followed the figure, his heart pounding with a mixture of curiosity and fear. As he drew closer, he realized that it was none other than Queen Lysandra herself, the ruler of the enemy kingdom. Her eyes met his, and in that moment, Eirik saw not a fearsome opponent, but a woman burdened with the weight of responsibility and the desire for peace. Their meeting was clandestine, a delicate dance of words and emotions that transcended the boundaries of war. Queen Lysandra spoke of her people's hopes for a future free of bloodshed, while Eirik shared his own doubts and fears about the path his king had chosen. Through their conversations, they discovered a shared dream of a world where swords were laid down and differences were resolved through dialogue and understanding. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Eirik and Queen Lysandra made a daring decision that would shape the course of history. Together, they crafted a plan to end the war before it began, to bridge the gap between their kingdoms and forge a new era of cooperation and peace. And so, when the armies of the east and west gathered on the battlefield, ready to clash in a storm of steel and fury, they were met with a sight that defied all expectations. Eirik and Queen Lysandra stood side by side, their hands raised in a gesture of unity. In that moment, the soldiers on both sides hesitated, caught off guard by the unexpected turn of events. With a quiet yet commanding voice, Eirik spoke of the futility of war, of the cost in lives and suffering that would haunt them all for generations to come. Queen Lysandra echoed his words, urging her own warriors to lay down their arms and embrace the possibility of a different future. Slowly, tentatively, the soldiers on both sides began to lower their weapons, their faces reflecting a mixture of confusion and hope. And in that moment of fragile peace, a single choice changed the course of history. The war was averted, not through bloodshed and conquest, but through the courage and compassion of two individuals who dared to dream of a world where swords were not the answer. And so, as the sun set on the battlefield that day, a new chapter began for the kingdoms of the east and west. Eirik and Queen Lysandra, once enemies bound by the shackles of war, now stood as allies, ready to build a future where conflicts were resolved through understanding and empathy. And in the echoing silence of that fateful day, the whispers of fear and anticipation gave way to the hopeful murmur of a world at peace.